So now karma is repeating itself today. So let's see what's in progress. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Let's start with the Mangalacharna. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadatikam. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopeku Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanusute Devi Pranamani Hari Priye Vancha Kalpadarupyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanaya Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vatsadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So today all set for the chapter 4, right? So we will start our journey on the chapter 5 after the 4th one. So before that 4th, we will have a recap. So what is it? So chapter 5, we are talking about for the Karma Yoga. So we did Karma Yoga also again in 3rd chapter, right? So what is this? This is talking about Karma Yoga in Krishna consciousness. So let's see what is this about. I always keep telling you that Arjuna comes up with a lot of questions, right? So here also the cause for this chapter is because Arjuna, as usual, is confused on what it is. And his understanding is, he understands renunciation only in one fashion. He doesn't understand renunciation. Krishna is talking about the fruits. So he feels, according to him, renunciation means inertia. So basically, he will not do any work, right? He will give up everything and run away. So back to square one. Now Arjuna is telling that, okay, I must go, right? I should go to the forest. So he starts all over again. So let's see what is it he has in the beginning of the first verse. Hare Krishna. Arjuna Vacha Sanyasa Karmane Kanirshna Unaryogacha Chashashi Yakshreyaetayor Eka Tanme Bruhi Sunichitam. Hare Krishna.
Arjuna said, "Oh Pranaya, first of all, you asked me to renounce work, and then again you recommend work with devotion. Now, will you kindly tell me definitely which of the two is more beneficial?"
Hare Krishna. So now he is asking, first you're telling me, renounce work. And again, you're telling work with devotion. So he's feeling these two are contradictory. Right? So when it comes to Krishna, you see a lot of things are contradictory, right? Seemingly contradictory. They are apparent contradictions, but they are not actually so. Why? Even classic examples we will see that you say that Krishna is here, okay, and as well as he's in Golok. How is it possible? Because if I am here, I can't be elsewhere, right? But how is all this possible? These are all what are called apparent contradictions, but in reality, they are different, right? But here it's a little more challenging for Arjuna, because for him and for all of us, right, renunciation means what? Giving up on what we do. That's the only way of renouncing it, okay? And he's feeling that it's contradictory because he's telling work with devotion. How can you renounce work and then again work with devotion? It's too confusing, right? So then he's telling, you kindly tell me definitely which is more beneficial, because both the options are there, basically, which is called, Karma Yoga, that is working in Krishna conscious, and Karma Sannyas. So giving up on work and, actually what you can do. So now what is he telling? So first let's read and hear what is Krishna's misunderstanding. And before Then we will dive to the new chapter. Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Krishna,
Hare Krishna. Krishna's misunderstanding.
Arjuna's
Devotional service.
misunderstanding.
Sorry, Arjuna's misunderstandings. Devotional service better than dry mental speculation. Second chapter, text 11 to 30. Knowledge of soul described by Krishna. Text 31 to 37. Prescribed duty explained. Text 42 to 45. Entanglement of soul due to fruitive activities. Text 46 to 53, explaining the process of disentanglement by devotional service. Third chapter, text 17 to 18, explain no duty for a person in knowledge. Chapter 4, text 33, explained all kinds of sacrificial work accumulates in knowledge. And in last verse of the fourth chapter, Krishna again told Arjuna to get up and fight, thus confusing Arjuna, renounce or work. So renounce or fight.
Yeah. Hare Krishna. So what is the confusion? So the confusion starts for Arjuna in second chapter itself, where all his doubts of the first chapter is answered by Krishna in the second chapter, right? And specifically from the text 11 to 30, he is talking about the various qualities and characteristics of the soul, right? And between 31 to 37, he says, what are the prescribed duties, right? What should be the duty of the person? And 42 to 45, what are the, what can be the actually entanglements, right? For fruitive activity, what are the activities is what is being explained. And how do you get entangled is, how do you come out of this, entanglement, which means devotional service is the only solution, which is explained in 46 to 53. So now this is second chapter. So this is pretty clear. But in spite of that, Krishna gets telling and reinforcing it so well. Arjuna gets confused between Buddhi Yoga and Bhakti Yoga. So the third chapter comes up, which says very clearly, what does he say? There is no duty for a person in knowledge, right? So for a person who's very self-realized, there is absolutely no duty, right? Which is what he was telling. Though after that, he did explain two examples of Janaka and himself, but broadly, what does he say? He says that there is no duty. For someone who's self-realized, he need not follow any duty. That's right. So now, chapter 4, what happens? Now, chapter 4, again in the verse 33, he says all sacrifices, right? We already said, what do you mean by sacrifice? Anything done for the happiness for Krishna is sacrifice, and all this culminates to knowledge, right? So eventually he says that all this, Krishna is the only Yagna Purusha. So all sacrifices, the purposes, they all accumulate into knowledge. And this is what he's concluding in verse, he's telling midway in verse 4. And finally at the end, Krishna is telling, okay, enough. I've been explaining. I think I have to tell him more straight, right? Because Krishna is trying to be very diplomatic. If you notice, even at the end of the chapter 2, he explains about Siddhartha Muni, trying to explain what he should do, how he should walk, how he should sit and all. But after all this, he just puts a full stop in chapter 4 by telling, okay, Arjuna, that's enough. Now get up and fight, right? That's it. So now he's very confused, Arjuna, right? Just like us, right? After just before the exam, we get so confused what we should do. And sometimes we don't even know what portion is there, right? It's even more confusing. So thus, Arjuna, is now going to go. This is what leads to the 5th chapter. And he asks Krishna, now you tell me which of the two is more superior. So this is what he's asking. Now in the verse 2, Krishna is going to clarify the doubts. The first one starts with a question and 2 starts with an answer. Hare Krishna. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Sanyaso Karma Yoga Cha Nichreya Kara Ubo Tayostu Karma Sanyasa Karma Yogo Vichinyate. Hare Krishna.
The personality of Godhead replied, the renunciation of work and work in devotion are both good for liberation. But of the two, work in devotional service is better than renunciation of work. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you. So he says both are good. So if you're actually asking, is a sannyasi technically who is a very genuine sannyasi? Here he is talking about not the pretender, not the milityachara, right? He's talking about somebody who genuinely wants to think of Krishna and, give up everything and go. Is he correct? He's telling, yes, he's also correct, right? He is telling that person is also perfect. But what is not correct is that, what is actual solution? Of the two, he says that devotional service is better. He's making this how? See, somebody we always feel, right? Somebody who's giving up wearing this kind of bright, colorful clothes and just going and preaching and thinking of Krishna, isn't that great? Right? To our minds, we feel that, right? But now Krishna is telling that doing devotional service in work is better. So let's see what is it he's got in store, right? So he must have a reason, right? So now let's also try and understand this very nice story of Nirga. Okay, there is one king called Nirga. Okay, and we are going to connect this to the fourth chapter. Fourth chapter, what did we say? We spoke about a lot of people who pray demigods, right? And why do they pray demigods? For getting quick results. So now this is a very beautiful story of a king. And every time this comes up, right? If you do a lot of pious activities, right, without Krishna in mind, right, is it good or bad? Now I'm going to leave this chat open for you, and y'all are going to tell me, this team is going to tell me whether it's correct or whether it's not correct. See, Krishna is not there in mind, but then we are going to do a lot of devotional activities around it. So is it right or is it not right? So you got to, tell me this. Chat is open, right? I think chat is open. So without Krishna, you do pious activities. Is that right or not? You can just type a yes or a no, all of y'all. Okay. Meanwhile, I'll continue the story. So what is, yes, okay, that's nice. Thank you, iPhone. Okay, yes. So whether Krishna is there or not, pious activities is good, right? So now let's hear from, from him what is happening. So he is a great king who used to give lots of cows, to the Brahmins. Those days, Brahmins actually used to live with one piece of land and one cow, and based on that, their agriculture and that they used to survive. That was a prime job, right? So what happened is he used to give away a lot. Not only him, the concept of birthdays are very different these days and there. So birthday party means, if it's my birthday, what happens is I have to pay, right? I get a lot of gifts, right? So what happens nowadays is I receive gifts. I'm at the receiving end. Treat is a different story, but then I receive gifts. But those days, it's not like that. When it's a birthday, you give away. It's because the charity started then. So where is this concept? So even Nanda Maharaj, during Krishna's birthday, every year, used to give 1 lakh cows, right? So he used to do this during Krishna's birthday, and he did it for the happiness of Krishna and God. They used to have focus on that. Now, Nirga, okay, he's a great king. Likewise, he was giving away cows, but the only difference is he had himself in mind. He always felt, he was not proud, but he always felt that he actually has to do sacrifices and charity because he was fond of doing them. Right? So we already had a small introduction of this mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance, right? So he, though appears to be in the mode of goodness, what happens is he's having a little bit of passion because he wants his name and fame here, right? So he had a little bit of centric focus. Now, more than that, what is actually coming out here is when he gave, and these are not just the cows, the cows are all jeweled and completely decorated. What happens to these cows is one cow in this, found its way back to his group of cows. So this story is in Srimad Bhagavatam. So now it goes back and joins the entire group of this rest of the donating cows. So invariably, without knowing, he goes ahead and gives away the cow which he already donated to one other Brahmana. Now, both these Brahmins start fighting. The first one says it's my cow, and the second one says it's his cow. Now, you all tell me, right, whose cow this actually belongs to, A, and B, right? What, so what is it he has to do? Maybe that's a tough question. So you can tell whom does it belong to, the first or the second, right? So these two have gone into Panchayat, right? Now, Nirga, this king is very smart, right? He has lots of cows. So immediately says, for anybody, whoever is going through this problem, I'm going to now give you all many cows. I'm going to replace the existing cow with multiple cows. And not just one. He says, I'll give so much A, B, C, D, and he has a plan B. So now today, in today's world, we all have a plan B, right? Okay, fine. You are working. You are not having a chance to go abroad. Don't worry. I will give you an increment and a promotion, right? These kind of discussions happen in office. Not too sure if it happens in college and school level because nobody has given me an option in college. They will tell, okay, listen, that's it. And you go back, right? You all have the experience because in schools and colleges, we don't get to have options, right? Yeah, thanks, Hare Krishna. Yes. So what is happening? So he is now stuck with the same fact that I'm just having the cow and nothing is. So what happens is this Brahmana gets so upset and angry and that they curse him. And those days the Brahmins were so powerful. Now, is cursing the right thing or the wrong thing is a different debate, which we will see in the further sessions. But Brahmins had a lot of these Vedic knowledge and Vedic shlokas, and they could actually, do a lot of curses and but they can't reverse it back. So what do? They actually curse him, telling that you therefore will be going through a lot of suffering and you will be this huge lizard. So the very purpose of doing sacrifice and charity to go to Swargalok or to get moksha. Just imagine he just made one mistake unknowingly, right? And by doing that, what happened? He had to suffer as a huge lizard for a very long time. And this was a curse, right? So now what happened and how did he get saved? So now finally after this only he understood and he apologized that he made a big mistake and the whole thing was this need. So now what is happening is when you do something on your own, the benefits come to you, which is fine, which is great, right? As you all said, doing good qualities and on your own is good. So therefore you go to Swargaloka. But if there is one mistake on any of this, but in any of the charity, sacrifice, or even in Devata worship, you have no choice but to get cursed. Now, do we really are aiming in getting credits? We are not keen in credits and debits. This is like sponsorship. So in a college, right, if you're getting an admission and, they will tell you your education is free, your food is free, your stay is free, your bus is free, your books are free. Would that be a great option? Or, that's option A. Or would an option B telling that, okay, you work for every bahar, I give you 50 rupees and your fees is 100 rupees. Something like this. Will an option A be more better or B? Right? Now you can tell option A or option B. Because if it is me, I would choose an option A because, I am at peace, right? And at education time, I don't have anything else. I don't have to work. I don't have to keep calculating how much I have made or how much extra I make a little bit so that I can go and eat a little thing because I'm given all the luxuries, right? And that's very important. Just imagine so calm, so peaceful, so happy I will be, right? To focus on my 3-4 years of education without any responsibility. That is going to Goloka Vrindavan, right? So you take credits plus or minus, you will be having the tension of either you're going to Swargaloka or Narakaloka. You don't take both, don't take positive credits and negative, which is called akarma, and therefore you have an easy way route to Goloka Vrindavan. So thankfully, whatever said and done, he had his pious. So therefore, Krishna does not forget all that. And when his children were playing, they came here and the ball fell there. So immediately, he sees this huge lizard, they get scared and they run to Krishna, and Krishna comes and the moment he picks it, he gets completely liberated. So that's one blessing which happens because the moment he realized that he was doing it for himself, he completely surrendered to Krishna. And even at that moment, Krishna doesn't say, okay, better suffer, you need it. No, he comes and rescues him, right? So this is what is the greatness of becoming a devotee at any point in time. Hare Krishna. So first, let's properly understand renunciation. What does renunciation actually mean? Rapaichi kataya budhya hari sambandhi vastuno mamukno biyu parityago vairagya palgu katyate. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. When persons eager to achieve liberation renounce things related to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, thinking them to be material, their renunciation is called incomplete. Hare Krishna.
He very clearly says, Hare Krishna, he says every person who is very eager to achieve liberation, right? So that is moksha, we already saw, right? So they renounce things related to Supreme God, thinking them, like many of them sometimes think that anything which we do, for example, even praying God, even doing japa. One classic example is we are all told to do japa, right? So he says, I want to renunciate and therefore I don't want to do japa also, right? Will that make renunciation complete? No, it won't. Why? Because their activities, certain activities should never be given up, right? And let's see why. And subsequent chapters will explain to you, verses will explain to you why you should not renunciate everything. But now let's move on to what is karma yoga or karma sannyasa. Jayo sa nitya sannyase yona dveno na kaiknati nirdvando hi mahabaho sukha bandhat pramuchyate. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. One who neither hates nor desires the fruits of his activities is known to be always renounced. Such a person, liberated from all dualities, easily overcomes material bondage and is completely liberated, O mighty Arjuna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So what is he saying? One who neither hates or desires. So basically, he doesn't have duality. What do you mean by duality? Duality is hatred, love, right? So let's take a classic example. And we did have a question about relationship breakup. How does it work? So what happens in a relationship breakup? You have some kind of feeling, right? You have hatred, right? Or you have love extremely, or you have something called the desire of the person not focusing on you. So all these things come because of duality. So you think of anything, heat, cold, right? We also saw this in chapter 2, right? He says, Matra spashtastu kaunteya, sitoshna sukha dukkadaha, agama paino anityas, tamsriya shashvata bharata. What is he saying? Heat or cold, if you start having an impact, then you will get affected. You don't worry too much about all these dualities in life, right? And these are very important. Just like how in an extremely cold climate also people do take bath, right? And at least now we have heaters, geysers. Those days, they used to take bath in cold water. Yes, you may tell that they used to heat it in fire, but many won't do that, right? They just used to, even now they do that, right? They just take bath early morning in cold water. Likewise, even today, women have the, even in hot summer, you are scorching heat, you actually go and cook in the kitchen. And just imagine, and that to the time you generally tend to cook is 12 in the afternoon. So it's even more hot, right? So people do tolerate. So that is what Krishna keeps telling. So here, what is he telling? That the one who's actually achieved the state, who does not have an impact on these dualities, right? Whether it's heat or cold, right? Can easily come out of all these material bondages. And this person need not go to Vaikuntha or Goloka. He will eventually go. But even here, he is somebody who is liberated. So that is what he's preaching to Arjuna. So what is he trying to actually conclude? Renounce the results, not the action. For example, renunciation for a student is, I don't want to study. Without studying also, I will reach great heights. No, that's not the solution. The solution is you renounce not the studying, you will study, you will give your best, but what will you renounce? The result. Whatever result comes after you give your best, because that is not within the area. In management, you will learn something called the two things: circle of control and circle of influence. What is the circle of influence? Something where whatever is bothering you. There are two circles, just in simple language. There is one circle where everything will bother you. Your teacher bothers you, your principals are. That's a huge circle. But what is a circle which you can control? Is a very small circle, a tiny little circle in the middle, right? So that is the circle which you can focus on. So studying is the only area you can focus within 24 hours. How much time I can dedicate to each subject and how can I take it to the next level? But what result comes is not something which you can control. That is what Krishna is telling. Renounce results, not the action itself, right? So all you have to do is don't worry about the action. You focus on your action. You can only run your action. But what you can renounce is whatever result comes out of this, don't bother about that. That you can completely give up, is what he is saying. So let's go to the next. So this is another beautiful story of a person. He's called his name. He's very special person because he actually has the record of the highest japas. Right, in a day he would probably be chanting the entire day. About more than 3 lakh times he would mention Krishna's name. Now, what is the specialty of him? And that's why he was called Namacharya. And when did he come? He came 500 years back, and he was actually a Muslim. He was a Musalman, and he was, during those days, you know how it is, right? So that was 500 years back. When I mentioned, that was a Muslim rule, right? We had someone called Chand Ghazi who was a general, and Hussein who was running the peace. So what was happening then is that they could not tolerate a Muslim getting converted, and on top of it, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's complete preaching of the name of the Krishna and Rama's name is something which they wanted to put an end. So that is called Sankirtan. So they did many ways. They used to they used to have him hit in so many marketplaces. They used to abuse him. They literally killed him, everything, but they didn't succeed. So they thought the best solution is to send a prostitute. Because they felt that anything becomes violence, right? And becomes a protest. So they sent this prostitute who used to come to him. And those days, they had a concept that if a lady comes and requests, they can't bluntly tell no for most of it. And normally there's very unlikely for these kind of requests to come from women. So what happens is, this is what shows a pure devotee, right? So he says, I haven't finished my rounds. Can you go and come back tomorrow? I will, definitely satisfy your wish. So she goes and comes back the next day. He tells the same, right? And he's doing japa and she gets bugged, again goes and comes the next day. She says, how many days you want me to come? He says, no, today definitely, please sit next to me. I will complete the japa. Just hear me out and don't leave. So she's very confident. Okay, he's now finally agreed and he's given me a place to sit. And he goes on completing the japa. This is the power of japa. You don't necessarily have to be doing it, but still if you hear it, and this hearing is not just applicable to you, if you all have pets in the house or whatever in the house gets liberated. That is why they say even a single devotee such as you all in the house is good to liberate a lot of sleeping souls in the house, right? Because the Nama Japa automatically does this work. How can this do? Simple. You have fever, right? Even when you're sleeping, your mom comes and puts that tablet in your mouth, right? Now you don't even remember that you had this tablet or an injection or whatever. But does it work in your body? Yes, it does, right? Whether you like or whether you don't like, whether it's bitter or whatever, it does have an impact in you. Same is Nama Japa. So it is so powerful that it automatically starts working on your body, and that purification, Krishna literally starts cleaning you, all the anarthas over the period. He takes a broomstick and cleans. So this is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says it as Cheto Darpana Marjanam, which means he cleans the heart of the impurities. So finally what happens? Finally on the third day when she hears this, she gets influenced and she literally falls on his feet and says that she's one of the devotees now. So can you imagine all these great people? What we'll do is we'll run away, and it's better for us to run away. As I said, our senses are like monkey. You try to tame it, the monkey will dominate and will take control of the intelligence. So for people like us who are at the beginning stage, who are all neophytes, the best thing we should do is don't even attempt to do any reformation. First, try to learn ourselves to be stronger in the faith. Shraddha. Hare Krishna. So what is it we are talking about? The next one we'll do. Hare Krishna. Brahmanyadaya karmani sangam tyaktva karoti yaha lipyate na sapapena padma patrami vambasha. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. One who performs his duty without attachment, surrendering the results unto the Supreme God, is not affected by sinful action, as the lotus leaf is untouched by water. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So what are we saying? We keep telling that, how is this possible, right? See, every time you see, many things seemingly is not possible, but then actually it is happening, right? You see, if you drop a leaf or a flower in the water, automatically it sinks, it floats is a different story. But water does have an impact, right? It's on its skin. But whereas in a lotus, if you see, lotus is so beautiful and the leaves have this coating that the water does not stick to it, right? So same way what he is saying is, when you perform your duty, as I told, the results, if you're not attached, and decide that, okay, Krishna, I give the result, whatever happens, it gives a great relief to you, one, but the actual end result is what it is not affected by sinful results. For example, you saw that king here, right? So he wanted to take credits. Now, had he given it to Krishna, and for all of us who vote yes, right? Because even I thought, what's wrong, right? Doing a pious activity is great. But by doing a pious activity, you get credits. But the wrong activity, actually, you get mistakes also. Example, you do charity and you call some relatives in the house. You have 25 relatives who anticipate and make food. Now land up the 30 relative, what will happen? Let's assume they will share, but then even after that, if you have 5 relatives who are not having food, what will be the reaction? They get so angry and they can't, they will either externally shout or diplomatically curse you within your heart, right? So now suppose it is Krishna Prasad, what happens? Whatever said and done, it goes to Krishna. Right? So we have that shield, we have that protection, right? So we have a bodyguard because Krishna is personally taking care of us. So that is very important here in this Luka. So that is what we are talking about. So we'll just see what is the power of the great devotee. Hare Krishna. Enjoy every bit of it, right? So nobody is silent. They don't sacrifice anything. They are having so much fun because here there is no limit, because Krishna is limitless and our happiness is also limitless. There is absolutely no conditioning on the level of happiness, right? Hare Krishna. Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavi Hastini Suni Chaiva Swapakecha Pandita Samadarshinaha. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. The humble sage, by virtue of true knowledge, he sees with equal vision a learned and a gentle Brahmana, a cow, an elephant, a dog, and a dog eater. Outcast. Hare Krishna.
So what are they telling? See, now for all those who said, we spoke, right? Dogs are bad, the cats are not sentimentally bad, rabbits are jumping. So now what is Krishna telling? He says, forget about Krishna thinking of them as equal. Even a Dhira, we read about Siddhadi Muni in chapter 2, right? And here we are talking about Dhira, which means somebody who is very elevated, treats everyone equal. He does not see any difference between what are the things he's talking about in Brahmana. For them, that is also same. A cow is supposed to be in the mode of goodness and very calm. That is also same. Elephant also is same for him. Dog. And what is a dog eater? Dog eater literally does not mean somebody who's eating a dog. It means typically some category who's much below the 4 varnas, right? They are also called chandalas because they are coming, they do not follow anything at all. Right, so they do not say any difference. You know, today, in fact, I wanted to tell you all those who have pets, please bring your pets so we will know. We will do that tomorrow because tomorrow is a Saturday. Get your pets and let's keep the video on. You don't have to show me your face, but show your pets. So we will know that all these pets are also having the same Paramatma in the heart, right? Does that sound good? So for all those who have pets, you can just say yes, it's fine for you all. So you can just show your pet on the video and you will know that all those pets are also listening to this Maha Mantra and they are also benefiting. And many times you don't understand the benefit because you don't feel it yourself. Hare Krishna. Yehi samsparshaija bhoga dukkha yoneya evate adi antavanta kaunteya nateshu ramate buddhaya. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. An intelligent person does not take part in the sources of misery, which are due to contact with material senses. O son of Kunti, such pleasures have a beginning and an end, and so the wise man does not delight in them. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. What is he telling? Why the intelligent does not take part in the source of misery? So let's see. Can you see all this? This is a very beautiful light bird. And what is happening to this light bird? What do you call this? Moth, right? So it gets attracted to light and that becomes its disaster, right? It falls in the heat and it dies. So this is because of the attraction of one of its sense. Now you see the same concepts are applicable to a lot. What about the fish? The fish gets entangled, right? How do they catch a fish? They catch a fish with another fish, which means sense of food. The fish gets attracted by its prey, right? They use the small fish as a bait and they catch a bigger fish. So what is its control? It is actually getting tempted by food. Now same with the bee. Bee wants to go and have the honey and the flower. We read that flowers have life. They will close and therefore they lose out on that. So that's the disadvantage with the lotus, right? And now what is happening with the elephant? Now, elephant is something which is also very weird. It's how do they trap a huge elephant? Is because they will send a she elephant. They'll keep it in the trap and the he elephant will chase it. Right. So what is happening? The sex level intelligence span for the elephant is very high, and that drops him as an addiction. So what are they telling? So if you are addicted or if you give way for any of these senses, and what will happen? The chances of your destruction is very common. Now, for all the animals, one sense dominates. What is the difference for us? For us, all our senses are dominating. Eyes, ears, nose, mouth, everything. So what is the risk for us? We are twice at risk than the animal. And also animals come through the natural chain of evolution. We read, right, 84 lakh species. Now, none of the animals have a law or point that, they have to, do this much karma, credit or whatever. Karma does not apply to them. They come under the natural process of evolution. So karma is applicable only for whom? For us. So that is what matters. So let's see what is it Krishna is trying to. Right? Bhuktaram yajna tapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram sukridim sarvabhutanam nyatva mam shantim rachati. Hare Krishna. So Bhuktaram yajna tapasam, it's a very beautiful shloka, and anybody who would like to learn this shloka, it's really good. Bhuktaram. So what are he saying? The all sacrifices, right? Tapasam means what? All sacrifices. All yagnas and tapasas, ultimately who's the beneficiary? So all austerities and these sacrifices, ultimate beneficiary is our Krishna, right? So Sarva Loka Maheshwaram, right? So for all lokas, he is the Mahesha, he is the supreme lord for all lokas. And for all the, also for the demigods, for all the planets everywhere, he is the ultimate beneficiary, right? Sarva Loka Maheshwaram. So, and what is a Sukridam? What does Sukridam mean? Sukridam means friend. Friend also, what friend? Best friend. So he is the best friend, and he's a beneficiary, and he's a well-wisher, right? For all the living living entities. Living entities means, I just told you, it applies to all dogs, animals, all of them. He is a best friend, right? So it is not just for you or me, but it's a best friend for everybody, right? And by somebody who's following this, what happens? This is the ultimate peace formula. He reaches his ultimate satisfaction, and he is very peaceful. So many were asking, right? How do I get peace? Look at those cowherd boys, how peaceful they are. They are fighting with Krishna, they are playing with Krishna, they're eating out of their plate. Krishna is also doing all this. This is the beauty of Krishna. So what are they saying? Bhuktaram yajna tapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram shukridim sarva bhutanam nyatva mam shantim rachati. So that is the speciality. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. The sages, knowing me as the ultimate purpose of all sacrifices and austerities, the supreme lord of all planets and demigods, and the benefactor and well-wisher of all living entities, attain peace from the pangs of material miseries. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So he is telling how it can be resolved, right? So that is how it is. So this brings an end because he gave a peace formula finally, which is what we were looking for. So the very quick summary of that is Sannyasa or Karma Yoga. He says both are good, but working in Krishna conscience is far better because it is easier to follow and to sustain, right? So that is what he explains. And the start is 5.1, where Arjuna is questioning, and the answer is given by Krishna in 5.2 to 5.6. What is the final solution? He says Nishkama Karma. So what is he telling? Do work free from bondage, which means that you actually do whatever duty you have to and give the results to Krishna, right? Kurban apina lipyate. You just give all the fruits and you only focus on your duty. And finally, what is it? It says liberation by the focusing on the supreme. So in this way, what happens? You get liberated by focusing on the supreme, right? So nyatva mam shantam rachati. You will get your complete happiness, is what Krishna is giving guarantee. So for all of you who said, how do I, get peace of mind? How do I get Shanti? For all of them, the only solution is Krishna is automatically giving that the peace formula is, completely surrender on to me, and accept me, then he considers us as a friend, just as we consider him, because he is the only friend and a well-wisher for us. Even our best friend, any relationship, may be genuine, honest, no doubt. But is that relationship going to be with us all the time? At least death will separate it, right? But Krishna is someone who is going to be with us, not only here, birth after birth, even when we take the form of a worm, even in the stool, because he is entering along with us as Paramatma. Why and what is the speciality? We want to enjoy here. So he's telling this is the world, enjoy. But will you leave a small child, a 2-year-old child, to be on their own? Like, will you say that the child wants to go buy a chocolate? Oh, my child is so learned. Okay, I'll give money. Oh, child, you go and buy. Will you say that if you have a little sister or brother? Yes or no? No, right? So you will appear as if you're sending the person, but you will tag along, right? Yeah. So Krishna is also doing the same. He is coming along, but he's very silent because we don't want him to act. So he's there trying to take care and silently be a witness, and he's still there whenever you want him, right? He's readily there. So this gives us a clarity of what needs to be done clearly in 5th chapter. And the end of 5th chapter, what does he introduce? They introduce a small line called the Ashtanga Yoga. Because now Krishna has very clearly told, boss, the best thing is what? Best thing is to work in Krishna conscience. But we will not like that. Now we will always want to know what is the other side, right? The other side of the grass is always green, right? So what is it he didn't explain? Renunciation. We would like to know processes and practices of what is called renunciation. And this is what is the beginning and the entire chapter of the chapter 6, which is called the Ashtanga Yoga or the Dhyana Yoga, which means Krishna is actually talking about the process of renunciation. So for all of us who are here, if we feel working in devotion is not a great idea and we would love to try, renunciation, then the session is tomorrow. So let's be tuned for tomorrow's session, right? Meanwhile, I want you all to type your questions. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Please stay because we will have our bridge today. Meanwhile, the chat is open for you all to type in your questions. So let's go to the bridge, right? So let's see what is there and give me 1 minute on this, score on seeing what are we going to do on the bridge. Hare Krishna, right? Okay, you can hear, you can see. Okay, so we can start, right? So,
Hare Krishna Mataji, the screen is not shared.
Okay, I'm going to share now.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. So Hare Krishna devotees, today let's see what is the special thing. How can we link our, spiritual and material? So that is what we've been doing, right? So today, what is in store for us? So this is going to be a very interactive session. So what is the nature of this world, right? So the topic is not as complicated as it sounds. So I hope you can see this. So nature of this world, how many of you feel this world is? I want a yes and no tag continuously on the chat. Hare Krishna. A wonderful place. How many of you feel this is a wonderful place? As I said, the chat is open. Okay, yes, no, yes, sometimes. Thank you, Hare Krishna. Okay, agreed. So nice, Shrikant, that you feel it's a wonderful place. Any of you feel it's a miserable place? Yes, no, sometimes I like, yes. Thanks, Dia. So sometimes you feel it's a miserable place, right? Sometimes, no, I'm glad. Sometimes, if devotee Manika, if you don't feel, I'm so happy for you. Right? But actually, the reality is 50-50, right? Good, but sometimes miserable. It's always a mixture, it's not always good. It's not always. Definitely, one time I always have felt miserable, always, is the first 5 minutes before the teacher gives me the exam paper. It's the most miserable time in my life. Anybody feeling the same way as I do? Just before the exam, before the question paper comes, that 5 minutes of that silence, when they tell pin drop silence, oh my God, that's the most horrible. Thank you so much. Thanks, thanks, Sachin. Oh my God, that's the most miserable point. Forget about even failing in the exam or passing. Oh, thanks, Sudhir, with the hands up. That is like trauma. Not talking, my head bursts. So someone asked, can you be with fasting? I said, I can. Even fasting, even without breath, I can manage. Without talking is very difficult. You can see that in me, right? So now what is it in store? So let's see what are the things, right? So why is all this happening? Let's analyze more objectively, right? Many are born in opulences and good upbringing. All of them are very happy and fine. But there are some who are born much against their choices, right? Some are blind, some are handicapped, some go through a lot of pain with not enough to eat and starve to death, right? Some don't even have one complete meal, right? So they go through a lot of trauma. Some of them are born with disabilities. Look at this poor child, right? Does it really need to go through all this? Yes or no? Has the child done anything that day? Was it born like when the child was 1 year old? Can you tell it did this? So, he definitely needs to suffer? No, right? I mean, the child would have done, but it won't, it is not meant to be punished. When I was 1 year old, right? I used to be very angry, and my cousin was 3 months older than me. It seems, I don't know what happened. I took a tumbler and I just threw it on his nose. Okay, and a poor child, I don't know how much he'll be affected. But the fact is, can you blame me for it? I mean, maybe a bit, but then at the age of 1, I was just a child, right? So how can you tell that I should be punished? So child would have been just the same, right? So all this are happening, and not only with humans, but also with the animals, right? No one desires a miserable condition. Right? Nobody wants it. But much against our own wish, they are put into these miserable conditions. Nobody wants to be like this. No one wants to die. Definitely, we don't want to die. Right? But what is happening is, in front of us, the time separates us from our near and dear ones. Right? We are left shattered and broken, right? We are so upset. We are so upset because of the fact that we really don't want any of this to happen. Somebody was talking about relationship break. I personally feel, right, and maybe if anybody is with me, losing a person is more traumatic than losing a relationship. It's easier to manage someone when you feel the person does not want you than to manage that the someone wants you and has left you. Anyone agrees, disagree? True, right? Yes, I totally agree. And I'm so happy that you've put past karma as a reason for the child. Yes. So the point is, that's the most toughest thing. And trust me, if anyone has gone through this, can relate this so much. And I could relate this also because I had one best friend whom I lost in 12. And that trauma haunts me like anything, right? That was pre-models and finals were there, and I just couldn't give my exam. I gave a paper. I don't remember what I wrote, but I still remember that the teacher never gave me my marks. So I don't know if I got anything beyond a 0 in that pre-boards. But the fact of it is that really disturbs you, right? And that's what is the most painful experience I have. And I'm not saying that I've not lost relationships. There are many people who come and go in life, but nothing was more traumatic than losing the person. And if you have not experienced touchwood, you should never experience this pain. And above all, we die leaving behind all we have. So painstaking. We also do that, right? When we die also, it's painful. Do we think that? Some of us think, and therefore that is why many people don't commit suicides, right? They think of the near and dear one. And it is said that 1 out of 4 really wants to commit suicide. Thought comes, but you don't act, only because of that love. We want to remain young and energetic. Yes. Anyone wants to go old, have broken tooth? Please tell me. But unfortunately, it happens, right? We don't want it. Why we don't want it? Because we don't have to be like this. In spiritual world, we are not used to this. This is new. Many of us love swimming and we get into the water, but after 2 minutes, we want to come out, right? At least from under the water, we want to come out, not from the pool. Why? Because we can't stay there. We're just not used to it, right? We are more of people who are used to land. So same way, we are not used to this material world. We are spiritual people. We may be here for 90 years, but we are supposed to be there in spiritual world for so many years happily. See? So let's now go into characters. Ronald Reagan, President of USA. So he said very beautiful verse, which was really touching. I've recently been told that I am afflicted with Alzheimer's disease. I know I now begin the journey that will take me into sunset of my life. So what is Alzheimer? Alzheimer is the most horrible sickness, which I feel is because of the fact that you don't remember what's going on. Right? You forget people. It's not only traumatic to you, but it's also traumatic for people around because they don't recognize you anymore. Now, due to receding memory, he is not able to remember he was even the president of US. He doesn't even remember that. We want to always remain hale and healthy. That's why we do exercise. But much against our wish, we encounter various diseases. None of us expected. COVID also, right? I'm sure someone or the other close to us, we have, if not lost, at least suffered COVID. Yes or no? You will know at least one person who's close to heart who has suffered COVID. Yes? Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so that is so scary, right? And some of them are chronic. Some are fatal. Although we are advanced in medical sciences and have the latest technology at our disposal, still our plans of happiness, are new. You keep getting new diseases, right? It's not happening. So Muhammad Ali, nobody will forget Muhammad Ali, right? He was a heavyweight boxing champion, right? I don't know if there was someone to beat him. And something great about Muhammad Ali is I've seen more of posters of him in a lot of my cousins' houses, posters. He was like a hero, right? Hero worship, I would say. Today, suffering from Parkinson's disease, even cannot lift a cup of coffee. Can you imagine? Kind of exercises they do, we can't even go near. In spite of being rich and famous, scriptures point out, apart from these, we are constantly tormented with now some things which are coming up. Adi Atmika. There are three things which I'm going to bring, which are technical terms. Adi Atmika Klesha. Which are miseries due to our own body and mind. Your body, is sort of sick, and forget it. Sometimes your mind complicates, right? This person is not giving me importance. The teacher is avoiding me. Maybe true, but sometimes it may not be true, but we will have this kind of an imagination, right? Radhika here is specifically calling out the names of only 6 people in this group, but I have constantly been replying to her in this chat box, but she's just not bothered. She's not called my name even once. May not be true, but it's something which we think within ourselves. Many times it's happened. Many times we've also felt, I'm going in the road, she's just seeing through me, but she's not even bothered to tell me a hi. Yeah, it happens, right? Yeah. So this is called Adi Atmika, right? Where our mental concoction, our body is creating our own miseries, right? Most of the time, this is the main thing. And this is the only area where we can control. Adi Baudhika Klesha. What is it? Misery is due to other living entities. Genuinely, people are creating problem. Your neighbor is really trying to be distressed. The moment you keep a little bit of volume, maybe so low, but still he will come and bang your door. Reduce it. I will complain to your dad. Very commonly heard problems, right? I don't know. I don't know about you all. When I was little and we used to play ball, and you know what ball it is, right? We used to have that soft tennis ball, rubber ball. I don't even know what ball it is, like the really, really soft ball. And the neighbor used to tell that it always falls, and I don't know whether it will break his scooter or bike or car. And trust me, even if I smash that ball on your face, nothing will happen. That used to be the ball which we used to play. But they used to like come as if, I had the wooden ball, and every time, that complaint. I'm glad none of you all have this issue, right? But I did face that. So these are Adi Baudhika. Genuinely, problems come from outside. It's true.
Angry elephant
is talking about the Adi Devika, the control over any of this. What is it you have control? Adi Atmika, that is yourself. You cannot change Adi Maudika or Adi Devika, but the way in which you view things can change. Example, COVID was common for all of us, right? It was not new. It's not that it's affected only one. It's affected all of us in total. Yes? Yes or no? Yeah. Impact could be varying, but psychologically, people who got affected, if you go back, are those, if you see, many people used this as an opportunity. For me, COVID was a great opportunity because I could learn Bhagavad Gita, which always has been my great plan. For a student who is probably in 12th or 11th, would have thought, oh my God, some of them had mixed views. Some felt, wow, COVID is a great opportunity for me because I don't waste time going in the bus, going in the car, and I have 24 hours to learn, right? But whereas other children told, oh my God, I can't focus. My life is gone. I just can't do anything. Had I gone to school, I would have had so much time, right? I would have mixed. I am someone who don't get self-motivated. I will get motivated only if someone motivates me. Only when I have tests in school, I will study. All this came up. This is not about children. I'm just starting at that age. Go to the next. The parents say, hey, I would have earned so much, if there was no COVID. My business is down. Is only your business down. Business is down all over, right? But everybody spoke as if the COVID was only for them. So what was the thing? Adi Atmika, if you change, you can actually be able to deal to an extent with the other two. Because that's the only thing you can control. Hare Krishna. Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadi Dukkadona Nudarchanam. The essence is material world. Dukkalayam Ashashwatam. Ashashwatam means what? It's permanent place. What is this a permanent place? No, it's a temporary place. But what is permanent about it? Misery is permanent about it. So Dukkalayam, this place is miserable and is temporary. Not false, but temporary. So what is the real problem, right? One which is common. None of us want this, right? None of us want it, but nobody can avoid it, right? Misery is caused. We already saw all this, own body, all this, right? So what is actually happening? We are stuck with all this, and flickering means our mind every moment So what happens? So you all saw this, right? So Veda Sutras by Srila Vyasa. So who is Vyasa? Topmost Vedic literature. What is it? Athato Brahma Jishu. So what is he actually trying to tell? You should first understand who Vyasa Deva is. So we already started that Sanjaya got his Divya Drishti through Vyasa, and Vyasa is incarnation of Krishna. He was the one who wrote Bhagavad Gita. He was the one who wrote Srimad Bhagavatam, and various Vedas were written by him. And therefore, one should now inquire about who is this Brahman. That is, what is transcendence. That's all going to come. So let's just go back to the history of animal and human being. Who am I? Where did I come from? Where will I go after death? So will an animal be able to inquire all this question? That is a differentiating factor. So now Parikshit had, as I already spoke, grandson of Arjuna, son of Abhimanyu, inquired with Sukadev Muni, who is the son of Vyasa. When he was given a 7 days notice, he wanted to inquire so many things. So entire Srimad Bhagavatam was told to him then. So Mahatma Gandhi was fully in support of Bhagavad Gita. Right? He already told that the strength for him to fight, he has arrived from Bhagavad Gita. So you'll tell me, when did he fight? It's not a physical fight, but this is what it is. So what differentiates us from the animal? The sheep is so happy that it has a huge, bunch, so much of grass, but it thinks it's lucky, but we only know that it is going to have its final meal. Whereas if it's us, what will happen? We will run away, right? Animal can inquire about eating, sleeping, mating, and fearing only. Can you inquire about life and death, right? Human is the only one who can do. For example, when you know you're going to be affected, won't you run away? But just imagine a sheep, unfortunately, it can't do that. It will be waiting. Inquiries about life and death. Who am I? Where from did I come? Where will I go after death? Why am I suffering? So human life is about inquiry. And if you inquire righteously, you get promoted to the higher planets. If there is no inquiry, many will tell, no, I won't read the Vedas, but I don't believe in that. You should do it to limit. Then what happens? You'll be back to the animal kingdom. So there is no chance of success. Everyone has to become a sannyasi. Is that your question? Someone asked, right? Should I enjoy? No. Right? We have two concepts called the grahastha, which means that somebody who can marry. And graha maybe we'll see who it is. Grahastha is bona fide if he makes relevant inquiries, right? Sannyasi, right? Who sannyasi is bogus if he makes no relevant inquiry. So you have two. Grahastha means married man. As long as his inquiries are bona fide, then he's correct. Whereas a sannyasi, if you see him smoking and telling that you can enjoy, you do whatever you want in the right way, you live with 100 women, then he is not a sannyasi, he's bogus, right? So who's a grahamedi? Only interested in animal necessities of life, right? Eating, sleeping, mating, and intoxication, all the bad habits, that is called grahamedi. They have no conception of future life, absolutely no conception, no aptitude for making relevant inquiries in life. They are bound by shackles of attachment to false things contacted in this temporary existence, right? They are just more bound. They think they have freedom, but they have zero freedom. He wastes his night time in sex, cinema, gambling, liquor, etc. So typical example. Accumulates more and more money for comforts, unlimited expenses, artificial standards of living. Leads to unlimited competition and a society without peace. So eventually he will never get peace. You will see this category who's telling that I am so unhappy, I have this problem, I will enjoy only after this problem is resolved. It will never happen, right? Knows that he will die today or tomorrow. So you all saw all this. So Grahamati is ignorant of the temporary nature of the body. Blip. What do? They show, it's a family show, right? You will see a lot of them in the family. They will have a lot of pictures of Facebook of something which is worse. Somebody will be struggling in flood. Really, somebody will go and save. But what will happen? These Grahapatis will be so clear in taking picture. Last time when we had floods, there were a lot of volunteers in the apartment who wanted to give food, right? So we all joined. So what happened is we live in an apartment community where we had a huge bowl and we all decided same 2-3 items to be done and we pooled it together. But we saw, I was seeing a couple of, when I could relate this, is they had come there. They neither did contribution, but they were all trying to take selfies, with that huge vessel of idlis and all, they were taking selfies. and some of them even posted it on Facebook, apparently as if this was done and they were a major part of it, right? So you know what it is. The community show. Yet he is mad after temporary arrangements, right? He's so mad. Makes no relevant inquiries for himself or for others. He's just not bothered. See, what is missing? The text. So who is Shankaracharya? You all know Shankaracharya, very famous, right? So he is in one side, children are playing. So let's see what are they talking about, right? So children are interested in playing. Young boys and girls are more after, what it is. And the old man is thoughtful as to how he can adjust and manage his huge family, right? Even at his dying day, he's more concerned about his great grandchild, what he is doing or she's doing. Okay, Paramatma Brahma ko api na lagnaha. Alas, no one is prepared to inquire relevantly, right? What are they trying to tell? Everybody is running. A small child running after a ball is correct. But at the age, one step to grave, still you're running after the same ball. The ball could be different, but you keep doing it. Why do we need, right? Why do we need, what is SQ? Does anybody know what is SQ? We did this on the very first day. Anyone knows what is SQ? Let me see. Yeah, that's right. SQ is a spiritual quotient. We saw this IQ, SQ, and all of this, right? So all this inquiry needs, certain amount of understanding. So what is happening is, we will see this in mind control, but broadly, we see the various platforms which we have to grow, right? So the typical platform, this we read in length yesterday. So we are at a bodily platform, maybe at a sensual platform. Many of us, college level kids will all be at the mental platform because they have a lot of intelligence broadly in them. But the only challenge they feel is they do not allow intelligence to dominate them because the mind voice fools them. The mind keeps telling, do this. Take your mobile for 5 minutes, but play for 1 hour. Because a mental platform dominates them and they become a slave. The moment intellectual platform takes over, and since this is a college crowd, that they will become very successful. How can they do that? Because mental platform is not only controlled by you, it is Maya, which is the external potency of Krishna. So for the intelligent platform to dominate, you need to connect spiritually. Do that only with the internal energy of Krishna. We will end the session. Hare Krishna, and thank you so much. So do you have any questions? Before that, let me show a mini Paramatma from my side. I hope you all will enjoy. So this Paramatma has been sitting, for this entire chapter. I do not know how much of it, he understood. So the point what we are trying to tell is, irrespective of whatever it is, there is a lot of focus which goes. So all of them actually here. Now the point is, will it understand? Will this follow? No, right? So that is the difference between you and me and this one. But what is the impact? It does have an impact. Does this effect of spiritual realization go into this Paramatma which is sitting inside this little heart? Yes, it does, right? Otherwise, so you can tell a hi. Okay. So why am I telling all this is because all of them, right? If you start differentiating, this is good, this is bad, then the level will not stop, right? Then somebody will start differentiating at human level also. This is bad, this is good. This person is, dark, I should not go. This person is fair, this person is rich. So end of the day, what is Bhagavad Gita trying to tell is, the great person, the Uttamadhikari, the person who is a strong believer of Krishna, strong believer of God in general, is someone who's a Dhira, who does not differentiate between any of this, whether it's a human, whether it's a cow, whether it's an animal, or whether it's a cat who's peeping into the video like this. So the point which we are trying to tell is, if anybody comes to you, now you will know very clearly that Vedic Vedas, nowhere has told, the dogs are bad, nowhere has told the poor person is bad, nowhere has said the rich person is great, right? Now do you understand why you need to read Vedas and understand? Because to even counter, otherwise what will happen to all of us, right? All of them, and that's one reason why I started studying Vedas, is because many used to tell, this day is bad, this time is bad, no, time is Sudarshan Chakra of Krishna. And if it is Sudarshan Chakra of Krishna, how can you tell a portion of Sudarshan Chakra is bad? When you come under the protection of Krishna, Sudarshan Chakra is going to work. When every soul is Paramatma, right? Every soul, if Krishna is sitting inside the soul or the heart of the Paramatma, how can you tell that your Paramatma is superior and the one inside the dog or a cat or a rat is bad? Yeah. So with this, I will continue the session again back, and I hope you enjoy. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna devotees, any doubts you can go on chat. Any questions you can go on chat. Okay. Hare Krishna, what can be done of the strongest argument that one can state to someone who does not believe in rebirth? Hare Krishna. Devotee Manika, thanks for the message, but why do we need to worry about somebody who is going to argue about rebirth? See, because here we are not into proving. This is about understanding and countering our own mind. Why did I actually explain so much about the concept of Paramatma in the soul? Because you don't need to prove to someone, but you should not get confused, right? This reminds me of a story in Kerala. During every wedding, they used to search for a cat, continuously search for a cat and put the cat inside a cage. And only then they will conduct the wedding. And that day, they could not find a cat for some reason, and they were not able to conduct a wedding. Why? Because they used to have a lot of cats in the village, and during wedding, the cats used to walk up and down and cause disturbance. So as a cultural practice, they used to put these, cats in a cage before conducting the wedding. And that became so strong that it became a practice that they started following. So what is important? You understand what is right and wrong. Example, Buddha. Why did Buddha come? Very nice. Buddha is an incarnation of Krishna, and he came to teach you what is the wrong thing and what you should not do. Example, animal killing, is it right? People say animal killing is right because animal does not have sixth sense. Animal cannot think like the way we think. I agree, animal cannot think the way we think. A child also cannot think the way we think. Do you agree? A 3-month child does not think the way you think. So that means I can kill a 3-month child. Does it allow me to do that? No, right? Even legally, I will be behind bars. Even a mother. Yes or no? Right? So that answers your question. So don't make any efforts to argue with these people, but this is to fight your own Adhyatmika argument. Your mind will continuously fight. So that is what it happens. Hare Krishna. Somebody asked if this, okay. His name is Oli Bihari. I call him Hari Bihari, incidentally. So he's a Persian cat. He's not from Hollywood. He's from Chennai, and I live in Chennai. I have an Indian cat too, but I can't keep both together. So I will show him tomorrow. Hare Krishna. What to do to the people who don't believe in God? Hare Krishna. Mihir, you don't have to worry. If you're concerned about someone who does not believe in God, as I just told you, even cats and dogs don't pray in the actual sense, right? But what do we do? And one senior devotee told me that anybody who's in the house, including the pets, feed prasad. Little bit, right? Whatever you're giving rice or chapati or dal or even the tirtham, feed a little bit of prasad, because prasad, I just told you all, is like a vaccine. COVID vaccine, you all don't believe, you believe, doesn't matter. You give the injection, it works, right? At least works. Like at least confident vaccines like triple antigen and all they give. Now, you believe or not, you don't have to worry. It works for you, right? Chloroform, if I keep it near your mouth or face, you're going to faint. I don't believe, I have control though, it doesn't matter, no, it will have an impact on you. Same way, this will all have an impact. You actually, if you feel the non-believer is someone close to you, a friend, just give prasad and give it to them. That's it. You don't need to really worry about the facts. Hare Krishna. And this happens, right? And typically your age is where they will be they call themselves as atheist, agnostic. So it doesn't matter. I know a friend, who calls herself, atheist, but, used to constantly do things. I'll tell you what things. She used to go to temple and clean the entire temple. She used to have such big bindis before exam. So, and she used to tell my mom forced me, right? So, but in your exam hall, your mom is not sitting there. And she's not that obedient kid either. But the fact why all this used to happen is because these people generally feel pride in telling that I am agnostic, I'm atheist. Deep inside, it could be a different story. But you have to be very careful, because when you're moving with them, they can be a large influence for you. Hare Krishna. Is there any questions? There are no questions. I will end this session. Hare Krishna. But before that, let me just quickly, many were asking how to chant. So this is what is it? How to chant, right? So this is the Japa Mala. This is what Japa bag. So the Japa bag has this hole, and I'll tell you why each of it is. So this is got 108 beads. You can use, this is Tulsi Mala, but you can use any Mala. So this is because of, there are a few things which I want to highlight here. This is called Sakshi bead, and it's called the Krishna bead. You will count one full, here. So basically, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. One fully. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. One more full. Please do not do Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. Don't move for Hare Rama. That's the biggest mistake most of us tend to do at the beginning. Also, you don't need to sing like a Kankirtan. You don't need to go slow. You don't have to, it's a japa. So you don't have to shout. You say and your ears will hear. It's a two-way process. Please don't do multitasking. For all the kids who told, I can't concentrate studies, I'm getting diverted, I'm not able to focus, this is extremely good because you are actually meditating. It says scientifically, if you engage two senses, in fact, one sense in one also, it's excellent. Here we are engaging multiple. Your mouth, your ears, your eyes watching, and your hands, right? So multiple senses are being engaged, and that will give you a great success for concentration. This will reduce anger, and all your issues will get resolved. What I can tell you is, don't do it for 1 week until nothing got resolved, because nothing acts in 1 day, right? So this is like a glass. So there are 2 glasses in my house, one which I have not washed for 1 week, and the one which I have not washed from yesterday. Externally, both look same, internally also. But when I wash, again, both look same. But what is the difference? The dust from a 1 week glass gets cleared more, right? Because there's more dust there. This one hardly has dust, right? So the cleaning process cleans the dust. Same way, this is a cleansing process for the heart. When you start this, Krishna starts doing it. And this is nothing to do with fashion, right? So when I used to go to work, I used to wear blazer, suit at 12 in the afternoon. And trust me, nobody made fun of this. And Chennai I am in, right? So there's so much hot heat. But the moment I carry a Japamala, everybody looks at me as if something is wrong with me. Why? That is the situation. And on a lighter note, this is what happens. People are more curious when you carry this than when you carry an alcohol bottle. So why am I saying all this is because that is how the world is. Instead of we worrying about the world, let's start worrying for a second about ourselves, right? And after you finish one full round, right? You finish this, do not, you'll be here, don't step over it. It's called Sakshi bead, right? It's called Krishna bead. So don't step over it, turn it completely and start from here. So one full round is 108. After that, you turn completely and you do. One more thing which I would like to tell is, just choose the size of the bead which suits your finger. Don't take it so big, which is uncomfortable, or don't take it so small, which is also very uncomfortable for you, right? So please focus on that. And one more thing which I want to tell you is, this Japa bag, you keep it inside. And 2 reasons why you keep it inside is, one, this mala should not touch the leg, and also that is one for cleanliness point of view. Second, even a very advanced level, the moment you start using these beads, there is a lot of power, which is positive energy in your language, which is transmitted here. So my only request is, keep it inside the Japa bag. And this finger, you can put it here, because you do Japa with the other finger. This pointing finger, you don't use. So with this finger, you keep it outside, so it becomes easier, right? So with this, I will, you all can chant. Today is the 5th day. So 30 times you can chant. I will do on mute, and you all can also do Shri Krishna. So with this, we will do. So this is how we will do, this. And I will, continue the session again tomorrow. Hare Krishna, right? So we will chant again, and we will end this session. Hare Krishna, everyone, and Hare Krishna to all. So we can stand today. We'll chant 30 times. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vatsadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Two more questions. Tomorrow I will add an answer. Tomorrow I will answer 2 more questions. Hare Krishna, take care and have a good day. Hare Krishna.